Ooh, welcome to Thought Cops, coming to you live from the mean streets of Neo-Chicago. I am Officer Kevin.
Back at it like a crack addict. I am Mr. Officer Grant.
What the fuck? What the hell is that?
Dude, I don't know. I try and make it exciting. I don't do the same thing each time. I don't go, Neo-Chicago. I do my own thing, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And you know what? That's fine.
Did you have that plan?
Also, watch your tone with Mr. Officer Brant.
Yeah, Brant.
Sorry, Brant.
No problem. What if that's
what if I thought your name was Brant,
Cops?
even though I'm reading it right now?
With us today, TV's very own Alex Ptak.
That's Officer Alex Ptak.
Oh,
Thank you for having me on.
Officer.
I have a gun. It's pointed at the screen.
We can see that. We're very scared.
You have to respect me, or I'm gonna shoot you with a gun. I guess
That's like a normal.
Thanks for having me.
That's a normal police officer.
Just another night of podcasting, guys. How's it going, Alex? Glad to have you back.
It's fantastic, Kevin. Another night on the internet. There's many sights to see.
We got Twitter, we got Facebook, we got Instagram. I think that's all.
What do we got on here? What do we got on the internet?
Let me see. I'm looking it up right now. There are many. YouTube's another one. Yeah. Grant, you got
I've been on Neopets for a while. There could be crime there.
Club
Neopets.
Penguin.
No, isn't that done? Didn't we talk about
you
that?
can find like a third-party server, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Club Penguin is over party. Okay, so I googled Club Penguin, and there's a newcp.net, which is a dangerous acronym.
I was going to say, do not click.
No, don't.
But
don't
it does say, it says New Club Penguin.
I just realized the whole thing's a fucking honeypot.
Why don't one of you click newcp.net? You know what the thing is, too, is if you were like a child who got like harassed on newcp.net, then you grew up and you were like, well, someone should have stopped me from going on there.
Yeah, where was the parental blocker for that?
Walked right into that one.
Well, fellas, it is 2023. This is our first episode of the year. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions before we get into all the fun conversation about the million podcasts that Alex does? Because I got one.
Okay.
Go off. 2 minutes of resolutions. Go.
2 minutes
of
resolution. Okay. My New Year's resolution this year for podcasting is to reference Family Guy less. And possibly not at all.
Big mistake.
Oh, we're
possibly
doing
not at all.
Podcasting New Year's resolutions?
Because as we were starting up, it doesn't matter, but that's just mine, and it has to do with podcasting because pod is life. And, before we were recording, I caught myself just filling the dead air when we were just having a conversation, doing a Peter Griffin laugh. And I'm like, you know what? I want to cool it with that for a while. I think we have really explored that as a
we've
sense
cornered
of humor
a market
for a while. I think.
Do you ever find yourself doing the Peter Griffin laugh in real life?
All the time, yeah. I get yelled at for it.
Yeah, my therapist has kind of called me out on it.
I've never tried this. It seems like it could be rewarding.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun. It feels great, but it's like it's time to
time to grow up.
It's like, well, everybody is doing like the ironic Family Guy thing now. I feel like I see that all over Twitter. That's half my feed is just like, it's also ironic Family Guy to coming around and thinking it's good. And that's what I'm afraid of.
I was about to say, I don't think it's ironic Family Guy anymore. I think we're just far enough in the future where people who were 8 years old when Family Guy got rebooted are now adults.
Kevin, this sounds like you. Because didn't you make that video a while ago where you said, actually, I do like Family Guy?
No, I said once in a while they have a good joke, but the whole thing, you can look it up, the whole thing was saying that I actually thought it was bad because I pretended to like it on the Doplex episode.
Oh,
okay.
But I see a lot of young men out there on the internet, they're being, these guys got people telling them, in their ear, hey, Family Guy's actually good. And they're being drawn down this pipeline into thinking Seth MacFarlane is some kind of artistic genius. And I don't want that for me.
It's a pipeline.
It really is. And
there's too many pipelines on the internet.
How are we reaching our children?
it's sad to say I have no idea. What's next? Is it going to be American Dad? Is it going to be something else entirely? I don't know. But the only circumstance I will accept is doing the live show with Asterios Kokonos, in which we watch the episode Trump Guy at the Lincoln Lodge on a TV for the entire time, that people will pay to see it. And if that happens, I will do it. Otherwise, this year I am pledging off Family Guy.
Well, that's funny you say that, Kevin, because my New Year's resolution is to quote Family Guy more.
Are you going to go back to the Tweeter Griffin again?
No, I don't care to do that. I can't keep up bits for that long.
Spot the Stewie in the room, huh? With his evil master plan, spot Stewie.
I hate that guy.
It's Grant, or as I call him, Brant.
That's New Year, new me, literal new me. I'm a different person with a different name.
I am Brant.
Yeah, driver's license and everything.
Yeah.
Well,
Brant, very similar to Grant, but mentions Family Guy even more.
Well, Brant, what is your New Year's resolution this year?
I don't know. I got a book I want to finish writing. I think I just want to finish writing that. I think that's the resolution, is just finish it.
That's pretty good too.
First draft, at least. I can do it. I can finish a draft in a year and a half, you know?
Okay.
Well, Alex, I mean, how big is this opus? You never know like how fast the rate of production is.
Well, so I have 70 pages typed. I have another 70 handwritten that need to be typed, so I don't know how many pages total. And then however much I do after that. And then you got to edit it, so about half of it gets thrown out. Then I'm going to rewrite it. Then I'm going to rewrite that. Then I'm going to edit that. And then I'm going to send it to a publisher. And then they're going to say, this is garbage. We don't accept this. And then I'm going to break down and cry.
They send men to my house.
I keep fucking this up. Brant, why?
What is going on here?
Why start with the handwriting? Just out of curiosity, is that just your method
that works? I was about to say, that is a wild decision. And it's what an artist does.
Yeah,
it is, and I am an artist. I think twofold reason. One, it's just like enjoyable. I just like writing by hand. I feel like on the computer, it's like you sit there and you just open up other tabs and shit like that. And it's like if you have a notebook, you just sit there and you write, and you can like practice your penmanship and shit like that. And it feels, there's like a tactile response to it. You get one of those like moleskin notebooks and you're like, yeah, I'm a real professional. And then I think the other thing is it's like a first person point of view sort of story. So I'm trying to make it like the journal of a crazy person sort of thing. And so, you know, you get into a certain state of mind, you just scrawl a bunch of shit down and you're like, I'm not even going to look at it. I'll just, when I reread it to edit it, I'll take care of it then. Other than that, close book.
All right.
Here's a subtle hint you could put in the book, is if it's a first-person narrator who refers to himself as Grant, but throughout the novel, everyone else calls him Brant, you know right away that there's something unreliable happening.
Funny enough, I haven't given the character a name, and I don't know if I'm going to.
How about Brant?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. You don't have to go with that. You don't have to.
Brant's kind of a bad name. Grant also, not my favorite name, but someone gave it to me, and that's just what I say.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Indeed.
Speaking of yours, Alex, what is your New Year's resolution for 2023?
I think I would like to make $10 million.
That would be so
That's
sick.
Not even that much money.
I mean, have you ever had $10 million?
Why don't you ask for $10 billion?
I'm not asking for it. It's a resolution. We're setting realistic goals.
Yeah, we all are, yeah.
I'm not like specifically...
Well, you did a movie reference, and I just figured I'd do a movie reference.
Oh, yeah, you know what's real cool? 100.
No, I was doing Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Wait. See, the thing is, no one remembers Seth Green's lines from that scene.
What's that from?
What's it from?
Yeah, what's the Seth... Oh!
Austin Powers, bro.
No. I flipped what you said.
I don't know. Now, I literally don't remember it, so I'm not going to be able to recognize you Continuing.
No, the name change thing is starting to get to me because you said Seth Green, but I thought Seth Rogen. And I was thinking, but what movie was Seth Rogen in? Not realizing you were saying Austin Powers. I thought you were talking about, The Social Network? And I was like, Seth Rogen isn't even in The Social Network. So what are we talking about?
Well, Seth MacFarlane
What are we even talking about?
Just kidding, he's not.
God damn it.
There's been a poisonous gas released in the Zoom chat.
Yeah, it turns out poison
Let's restart
can...
the episode.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have had these glasses on. I can't see, and so I can't think.
If we restart, I'm going to call you Brant immediately, just so we end up back here again.
Fine.
Well, you know what? There's no turning back now. We've gone past the point of no return. Brant, you're Brant now. That's that.
Wait, which
Alex,
who?
You, Brant. Alex, you do a million podcasts. I want to talk about one in particular, but just for our listeners, can you list off everything you do?
Yeah, and it's good to get it out of the way up top. Look, I currently am sitting on 4 podcasts.
Man.
Some of them are getting kind of old, so I had to start some new ones to keep things excited. I have an anime podcast. This is my oldest podcast still running. It's called Ballin' Out Super, where we recap episodes of Dragon Ball Super, which then ended. So now we are finishing Dragon Ball Z Kai, which we have still almost finished. Probably going to clear that one up in May. Is around when Kai is going to end. I have a politics podcast called Pod Damn America, which is kind of a news of the day podcast, and sometimes we do deep dives into stuff. Today we talked about Michael Hastings for the bonus episode. That's what I was doing before this. That one is all over the goddamn place. It's a real vibe. Go check it out.
All over the pod damn place.
Yeah, we've had both your co-hosts on the show too.
I believe it. They are on the internet.
Yes, they are. Oh, they are.
I have a radio play anthology I started over COVID. It is called Theater of Delights. It's the world's top audio stories brought to you here in the Pleasure Zone. There's 4 seasons of that released. I kickstarted a 4th season. I may be tempted to kickstart a 5th season. It takes a ton of time to make that one because it's not just an interview thing. I write scripts and I do voice acting. I do all of the voices. That's very important to understand up top because you're going to be really disappointed if you open that thing there will be a live, diverse cast, and it's just me how'd you get on the floor over there? And then I have my newest show where we read Quoras, and it's called Quorators.
Yes, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you do that show with our dear friend Jeremy Kaplowitz, and this is a newer show, is it not?
It started as of October, I believe, or end of September.
Wow. Fresh. Very fresh.
Clean.
My first video project.
For those who don't know what Quora is, I feel like most people have seen it. If you've ever Googled a question, you want to figure, okay, how do I change a tire? How do I whatever?
You used to just go to Google. That used to just be the thing. Is you just go, how do I change a tire? And then Google would tell you. But then now it's like a third party thing where you go to Google and then you go to Quora. How? Why?
Yeah, it's Google like if moves you to Quora. Quora has recently married Google's daughter.
Oh my!
Ensuring its place in the family.
Because I feel like if you scroll past the Reddit results, right below that is always Quora. And then that's where it starts to get kind of dicey.
Yeah, see, the thing is, they have all of the questions that you might ask on Quora, but the thing is, the answers are unreliable because it's a social network. So, it's set up in a way where you make a profile your whole family makes a profile on Facebook, but then your mom is answering questions of how do I get laid now? Or could Pikachu fight Master Chief? And so for the 2 main rules that we've learned from doing the show is no one answers the original question that was asked, which is why it's not a good treasure trove of information. And then the other one is that if people are answering your question, it's mostly to kind of start a fight with you. There's a lot of condescension coming back at the person posing. It's kind of like answerers versus askers.
A lot of passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. A lot of just why don't you know that? But of course, here is how you summon a ghost.
But okay, I don't know what people get out of answering it other than like a sense of superiority. But like when you sign up for an account on Quora and you answer questions, do they get like some kind of, benefits or like a social standing from like, hey, look at how many questions I've answered. I have this many on my profile. Is that what it is?
So it really is just the bottom shelf product of American like low effort website creation, and that you can tell at some point, because Quora is kind of old, they reformatted this website where it's Facebook Reddit, so half of it's Reddit. You can essentially do all of the features you get on. There's upvotes for everything, which we call up Quoras. There's sub Quoras, which are communities you assign to. But it's like Facebook, because when you ask a question, you do put it in the community, but on top of that, you are encouraged to tag people specifically.
Sure.
So that summons them to answer your questions. And for this reason, it is full of perverts. Just people who have a very specific thing they wanted to lock into. I'm trying to think if I answered your original question. There are rewards, but they're not very tangible. There's like some points you get.
That's so weird, because I feel like Quora started, maybe not at the exact same time, but I remember it being the intellectual alternative to Yahoo Answers, because I remember specifically there used to be a thing where someone would go on Quora, and Yahoo Answers was just the Wild West of the internet. You ask you say, how is Babby formed, right? And someone goes, you do weigh and stain mother, and you're like, I'm having a stroke right now. And Quora had a thing where it was like, oh, we have professionals answering your questions. So like you could do like a little credential, and you could say like, oh, I'm a PhD of mathematics. So when you're asking me, does 0.9 repeating equal 1? Let me explain to you. And I remember like there used to be a utility in Quora, like back a long time, like 10 years ago. I used to go online. I used to see a Quora page. I used to get an answer and then be like, okay, I know. But now I'll stumble upon Quora, and I'll have a question, I'll type it into Google, I'll go to Quora, and then I read the answers, and I'm like, why did I come here? I don't even see, nobody, like Alex was saying, no one's answering any questions. No one, like, I didn't know that it had devolved. In my head, I knew that it had devolved because it's no longer useful, but I didn't know the extent to which it had devolved to the degree that you're saying.
The shared expertise is a big part of it, because this is the Facebookification of the website, is under your profile, people put their jobs and almost like a full resume. So it'll say like where you worked and when. And
can you just make stuff up?
Chock full of cops, like real cops. Like, sure. But not just of the thoughts, but of the body as well. And they mostly want to share their stories where they hurt someone a lot of the times, or actually they also want to talk about ghosts. I think this is why I've been running into cops so much, is I ask ghost questions and they come up. But experts do try to chime in. It's just there are experts in every category and they don't really make sense. Like we were looking up, we asked what was the gamer national anthem last week, and a guy chimed in who was supposedly a mixed martial arts fighter. And so he spent the whole response post just talking about his expertise in martial arts, which is related somehow to video games because they're both sports.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful.
Like, with that said, it's Kid Rock.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're an expert of something and you answer my question, I'll believe whatever you say. You know, it doesn't matter what it is.
That's a logical fallacy, Kevin. That we call that in the biz. We call that appeal to authority. That's not. You don't do that. That's fallacious.
I'll respect my authority. Eric Hartman, South Park.
Eric Hartman, South Park. The year of South Park, 2023.
I don't know if I want to get into South Park.
No, we're not. How did you guys come up with the show? You and Jeremy. Were you sitting around browsing the computer one day and going, we need content?
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of what happened.
Yeah, same for us.
I said I would like to do a new podcast because all of my podcasts are 6 years old, and I want to do something where I don't have to, because again, my project before this was Theater of the Lights, where I'm writing 115 pages every time I do a season, and then locked into development hell for like 2 or 3 months of editing and changing my voice and finding sound effects. And I was like, what's the opposite of this in terms of work input? Probably reading funny things other people write. And then I spent like a month or two hanging out with Jeremy, just being like, what do you think is the funniest thing we could read? How about Quora? And then, of course, after we've started, a lot of people pointed out that my brother and me has read some Quoras, but I have never heard that show, so that means nothing to me, son.
I still don't know who those guys are.
And
they've come up multiple times, and I just
Isn't
don't
that the brother or
it.
the McElroy brothers? Is that who that is?
Well, I know that, but it means nothing.
I don't know that.
One of the McElroys is a emoji in our Discord, and I still don't really know who he is.
I've caught wind that one of them is more soy than the other ones, but
I think that's the one with the purple hair with the his face, and he's
like Pauly, and he's trying to get you.
I think I might have got rid of that.
I'm getting from it is he's gonna come get you.
I think I actually got rid of that.
Like Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
Did we get rid of it?
About how Elmer Fudd's laugh is pretty much indistinguishable from Peter Griffin's laugh?
Couldn't tell you.
It's different.
Couldn't tell you. Shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
New year, new me. New year, new me.
So, that was how we came up with the idea. I have been surprised how many people hadn't heard of Quora before we started, because I thought we were all on the same page about this being like a place you end up when you're sick and desperate online.
Yeah. How do I survive?
Well, and it's weird, too, because I think Yahoo Answers just recently, and by recently, I mean anytime within the past 8 years, recently closed. That's how long COVID's been going on for, is 8 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I feel there's got to be a lot of Yahoo Answer refugees, right, going into Quora. Is that why is that the decline in Quorators?
It's like getting answers at a refugee camp much of the time. I find in terms of answer caliber. There are again very hyper-specific communities that are active and bounce around with each other, and it's mostly perverts, people who are like, they're like a lot of like people, because here's the thing, is unlike Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or something, these like short form machines that we all plug ourselves into, it is intentionally long form. And so half of the fun, because you're thinking like, if you're looking for porn, why are you on Quora? Because you can get porn at all the established porn websites.
These people want a challenge.
They want to do creative writing is what they want to do. And so they'll all, like, they have characters they make for themselves. Like, we found this one account that had answered, because you can find post history, like in Reddit when you click on a guy. And there's one account we were reading about, I think it was like it was a woman who pees at a urinal standing up. And then we clicked on her account and we were like, oh, that's kind of weird. She was really encouraging about this. And then we looked at her post history. It's all posts about peeing standing up. So this is someone who's created a like middle-aged woman who's just like, it's okay. And the splash is actually very contained. That's what they do with their time.
The more I learn about this, the more bizarre it gets. And I knew it was strange, but this is just odd.
Yeah, I do enjoy the part of it. There's a thin line there, which is like, you could go full absurd, like max levels all the time with this podcast, but I think the sweet spot is when you ask real questions and then get people who should not be answering them doing their best.
Yeah, I know, like, you guys have put up some questions that were kind of, like, more silly, absurd, like you said, and, like, I think what you were saying on your show was that people don't respect that on Quora. They can kind of smell it, you know?
They can smell that you're not serious, and they're here to answer questions.
We're here to answer serious inquiries only, thank you.
That really should just be, that should be a short form on the end of the questions, is like, real answers only.
Yeah.
Reddit has that, I think, right?
And I'm sure that
Something
always
like
works.
That. Reddit is also a bad website. It's just less funny than Quora. That's unfortunately where we're at. And it's also very good for video game blogs and discussion. And so that's how I end up on there.
There's like some interesting, I feel like, pockets of Reddit where, like, if you want to know like a very specific, like, I got sucked down the fucking wormhole of like kitchen knives and like all these people that are like nerds about, because you're like, okay, I need to get like a new kitchen knife.
You were looking for new ones and trying to like read the reviews.
Yeah, and you're just like, what are good ones? And there's people that are like, I have a collection of 1,000 different kitchen knives, and let me tell you about every single one. What type of steel do you want? What kind of edge? What country of origin? And it's just like, I don't like, what's a good one? And they're like, it depends on what you're using it for. And it's like,
they used to make a knife in this country.
I feel that way. Like I do, like over the years, whenever I want to buy something, I do my research because I've I bought some cheap crap and I'm like, I gotta research this a little more, and then I always end up down these wormholes of people who know way too much about one thing, like you said, the knives or TV stands or any fucking thing. It's just like, man, this is.
And sometimes it's really good and really helpful, and it's the opposite of what people think about when they think of. In this moment, I am euphoric, not because of some phony God's blessing. You know, like there is other parts of Reddit other than that part, but that is a big stain on the legacy. That and the Boston Marathon bombing debacle have really ruined the reputation of a once great website.
Did it ruin it, or did it just really clarify for everyone? No, it 100%
clarified. I was being sardonic.
You know, I feel like you were saying that recently about Discord too, Grant. You said you're afraid to open Discord on the train because you don't want people to think you're planning a school shooting.
Yeah, because that's what people use now. Is
well, some of us are trying to.
It's not like opening 4chan on the train or anything like that.
Right.
Did you guys see the new Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he was? Do you think the Riddler in that movie was on Discord?
I think so.
I thought it was supposed to be like an analog for YouTube or 4chan or both, you know?
I think it was. I think he was probably He probably had like a community, much like the Thought Cops community, where we have the YouTube channel, but also we all have the Discord, and you can go on the Reddit and follow us on Twitter. You know.
Well, the next movie's going to have like Joker's podcast Discord. You know, all the people that listen to his podcast hang out in there and like plan crimes, much like ours. Just kidding.
That's real community feedback. That's kind of hard to find on the internet. What was special about the Riddler in that film was not only had he created an online community, it was full of real homies. Like these people all sign their lives away for their blog mates. They get guns and show up downtown. There's no forum I've been a part of where anybody would do that.
Well, not these days anymore. That's how it used to be. You know?
Yeah. It's a movie that's 20 years too late. Last year's Batman movie.
It's a shame. It's a shame. What are some of your favorite Quora questions that you've seen?
And some of your favorite answers too. I know the woman at the urinal sounds pretty solid, but
you know what? That one was not one of my favorites, actually. I was not a fan of that. I thought that was gross. But let me see. I'm going to see some that I put in the info of the website here, because it is, again, I'm doing the show while podcasting, so of course I black out and then figure out what happened later as I'm editing it.
Same.
Yeah.
I'd
say that's what's happening right now.
I really like all of the ones about how to summon ghosts versus demons, because they are very specific. And
it seems like there's a supernatural element to this website that you seem to have locked into.
Well, when we were picking, like, what are we going to talk about on here, I was like, let's think of really weird stuff first, and found all of this stuff about, like, how do I summon Bacchal or whatever. And so I glammed onto that, but it's been way more rewarding. Like, I guessed, like, 5 communities that would be funny, and that was pretty much the only one I was right about.
I think to summon him, I think you have to hit the gritty.
Oh yeah, ball. No, that was ball.
My bad.
Yeah.
Actually, all we do on my team is ball. But let's see. Now I got this up. Last week, we had, would it be okay if a boy bought his mom a bikini? Which I just really like the phrasing of. There's like two ways you end up on our radar, which is either you have a very funny wording to your question or a really specific answer.
Mm-hmm.
So like some of them with really good questions actually have a bunch of bunk answers. You got to just move on. There's one that's like, is time all right? Or something. You know,
is just time all right?
Keep going.
With some of the supernatural ones, are there, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of conjecture that one might make about the supernatural. Are there like consistencies in the answers that you find where everyone's like, no, you use this book and you light these candles, so it is like a collective consciousness sort of thing where everyone's like, yeah, this is exactly what you don't know.
No,
this
that's what's funny about it, is because it sounds completely made up to me, but everyone else is on the same page about like, that's too high a level of demon, you don't do that, you need this book, you need more training first, you should start with Paimon, he's very friendly. And it's like, Paimon is friendly?
I don't know, I saw that movie where they
Hereditary.
broke the kid's face. Yeah, I don't.
Apparently,
I don't know if
he's a great beginner level summon, along
super
with
nice guy.
Lucifer, which is like Lucifer. I thought that was the final boss.
Yeah, same.
But I guess he's also chill or just like really easy to get. I don't know what they're talking about, but I saw multiple people say this. Okay, you reminded me. This is on our third episode. We did pretty much the whole episode on this. We found it was kind of like a manosphere blogger who he made a post called 10 Rules for Men. And we spent like a full half hour going over his rules for men. And they were like, some of them were just like, always be strong. And then other ones were like, a man is the king of the barbecue. They were very.
Why does this sound familiar? This sounds.
It was probably on a T-shirt somewhere in a gas station.
Maybe I like came across this. Maybe someone like posted it somewhere at some point. Because why does the barbecue thing sounds familiar? Like a man is the king of the barbecue. Don't let anyone else touch the barbecue.
Specific phrasing. It was like, at the barbecue, the man at the barbecue is the closest to the king, or something.
Closest to the king.
It's written like a poem. And then so that took forever to get through 10 Rules for Men. And then after that, we started 32 Things to Tell Your Son. And that was when we figured out, like, we can't read a list of 32 ever again on this show, because this is way too many things.
Too long, too involved.
Like, I guess if I just blew through them, I could, but that wouldn't be very funny. Like, we got to talk about
there's levels
these.
of analysis you have to get into with that.
You got to do part 1, part 2, part 3, break it down.
I think 10 Rules for Men is probably our most cohesive episode, because the other ones are all random pockets of the internet over and over again.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot of, like, New York comedians on the show, right?
Yeah, well, I think just because we started the show after COVID, I was very into only doing it in person.
Sure.
Because I used to do all my podcasts in person, and then I, for several years, only did them over the internet, and I was like, I'm more lonely doing them this way.
Yeah.
Come over my house.
Yeah.
We made an exception for Will Menaker. I guess because I'm a fan of his, and
sure, yeah, Chapo.
If you have people who are like not going to come on the show because something comes up, or you can do it over Zoom, then it's like, yeah, man, fine.
Right.
I'll break the rule, but I am otherwise trying to just keep it in my house.
Yeah, we still do some in-person episodes. I think obviously, for somebody like you who's not in Chicago with us, we'll do the Zoom, but otherwise, we haven't been doing a ton of in-person ones lately, but it's something I also miss because, there's just like, it's nice to mix it up. It's nice to not, like for me, I have to get on the train and go to Grant's, but here I can just sit in my closet that I record in.
It is an easier setup and tear down, but there was also like a 2-month long period where I was just sick for 2 months with just a cold.
Various illnesses.
Yeah, it's like I got a flu and I was sick for an entire month. And then I was like, you know what I should get is the flu vaccine. And then I got sick for 3 weeks after I got the flu vaccine. And it was like,
damn,
what
son.
the fuck? There's no way that I was sick from the flu vaccine for 3 weeks. There must have been, I got the vaccine, I got a little bit sick, and then I got sick on top of that.
I was about to say, did you grow up over like a radiation testing site or something? Do you just have like extremely flimsy DNA?
There's a bunch of trains back there. There's a bunch of trains back there. I don't know if
Oh boy, that'll do it. That'll do
The
it.
whole
Grant.
chat is soy facing.
Trains will get you sick, Grant. You should know that.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's funny asking that from New York because there are like neighborhoods where we all know they were Superfund sites, and people are still like, "You can live there for only $800 a month. It's a good deal." It's just you and Polish people. It's actually really solid.
Love this country.
So dope.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? We were talking about something.
We were talking about
recording in person.
Yes, recording podcasts in person. Yes.
No, yes. I know what you mean. I remember very vividly thinking when COVID started, because I live in central Brooklyn and all my homies who I record with all live in the same area in Bushwick, that I was saving like 6 hours on the train a week just doing this from my house.
Yeah.
Which is valuable, but then it's also like the millennial bootlicker thing of like, I like feeling like I'm going to the office sometime.
I have said that
part
numerous.
Of a team.
Yeah, I
Kevin,
have said that
you've
numerous
called my
times.
apartment the office.
Yes, I pretend to clock in. Yeah. No, when I was working from home, it was like for a while, like sometimes the only time I would leave my neighborhood, Logan Square, I was like just to go to my office at Brant's apartment.
Check in at Brant's.
Who's that? Is that your friend?
I do another podcast with him.
I see him as kind of a boss figure, really, more than anything.
Think Police.
Yeah. Cracks the whip. Yeah, no, it's Thought Police, actually, Grant.
You do one called Thought Police?
No, it's like THOT.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did
you do that with
women? It's
No, I would never say it. I would never invoke the name.
It is
I'm joking.
not okay.
Let's move on.
I would never do that.
Andrew Tate got arrested.
What the hell?
Andrew Tate got arrested.
No, he's out. He's free. Actually, liberal. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know anything about this.
Is that a conspiracy that he's secretly free?
Yeah. Because I saw a bunch of TikTok videos where people are like, I almost called him Andrew WK. Andrew Tate.
There's a funny
sort of kind of the opposite in a way.
Yeah. The yin and yang of Andrews.
Well, they both like to party, I suppose.
That's true.
Andrew
Tate,
very
different definitions of party.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of videos on TikTok where people are like, oh, Andrew Tate got arrested. And people are like, you idiot. He's already out. He's tweeting, which I think someone just like has his phone and is tweeting. He's still in jail. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was arrested by like the Romanian FBI. So I don't think it's a real in and out situation.
And, he was also like getting into a back and forth with Greta Thunberg on Twitter recently. And I decided to... Yeah, that's what did it. Yeah, for bullying. He got arrested. No. I watch... Normally, like, whenever I see this guy's videos pop up on Twitter, I never click on them. I don't want to know. Because you always, like, you see that bald head with that big cigar. And I'm just like, this is not for me. But when out of curiosity, when he was like responding back to Greta Thunberg, which was a hilarious post, I'm just going to read quickly the back and forth here. They got into
starting with the one where he just unsolicitedly tweets at her for no reason.
Yeah, he says, "Hello at Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a W16 8-liter quad turbo. My 2 Ferrari 812 I don't know, man. I'm not a car guy. This is just the start. Just please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." And there's a picture of him at the gas station.
Yeah.
And he's fueling up the car because the car, it needs gas.
And then Greta Thunberg, for those who don't know, she's the young climate activist. She responds to him and says, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy at getalife.com.
Which is a claimed website. I looked into this.
Getalife.com?
Getalife.com is taken. It has been gone since... We talked about this on Pod to America. I immediately got a message. Getalife.com is taken.
Damn it.
You cannot own Getalife.com.
So then...
And, you know, the thing is, people harp on the fact, like, oh, that's kind of a weak burn. She's like 19 years old. She's not going to be...
There is a level of dismissiveness where it's just like, okay, you put a lot of thought and effort into... He made like a video later where he like interspliced some of his videos with like her video to the UN or whatever, and it's like, you're putting a lot of effort in, and she's like, yeah, man, email me, whatever, getalife.com. I have better things to do. And this is one of the top like 20 most liked posts on Twitter of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, oh my, yeah, 3.9 million likes.
You gotta respect that.
So then he responds, thank you for confirming your email address, or via your email address, that you have a small penis. The world was curious. Like, not understanding that it was clearly a joke. And then he records a video, and we don't need to play this, but like he records a video.
I don't want to watch it. I didn't watch it. I don't care to.
Well, I was going to get into
actually like a lot of production value.
This is the first one I watched at least part of, and he responds. He's like basically could not believe that she doxed herself. Like he's dumb enough to think that was like the real email address.
He is a very stupid. I think he was like a kickboxer or something. I think he got kicked in the head probably a lot. I think he got kicked in the head more than he kicked into heads.
And also, I never heard this guy speak before this video. Like his voice.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, this guy sounds like a dork. He sounds like me. Like, but like even like lispier, you know? Like, I'm like, this is not what I expected. Like just watching him like that, like chug out that cigar. I'd expected this like gravelly.
I will say, he's sort of in the same level. I won't say that the Liver King is as bad as this guy, but you look at the Liver King and you look at how the Liver King is built and you hear the Liver King's voice and you're like, yeah, I get it. I get that people think that this is like the epitome of manlyhood as he eats a testicle and he talks like that, like he has like a rough, low, gruff voice. And
the
you
Liver
see Andrew Tate is like 5'1" and 90 pounds. The cigar is bigger than his head.
The Liver King may be responsible for more public damage than Andrew Tate just because he is encouraging everyone to do very unhealthy things, and it probably is going to actually kill the people who listen to it.
If it hasn't already.
You're not supposed to go eat liver.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like that from eating liver. I mean, the scandal that was very obvious was he was actually crammed full of like an insane amount of steroids every month. That guy had like $15,000 of steroids.
Like more than I think most professional like bodybuilders and powerlifters. And
I mean, you gotta admit, he looked big.
He's huge.
He's goddamn car.
Yeah.
But anyway, I bet a bunch of people ate things they shouldn't have and got very sick from him. Although Andrew Tate, he's kind of a poison of the mind, isn't he, mate? About the voice, which you're queuing onto, Kevin. He's half British. Is the most uncanny part of it. And so he's like the first person I've ever heard who's like half Cockney.
Yeah, it's throwing me off.
It feels like you've like taken too many mushrooms and are hearing the walls talk or something. It doesn't register as correct.
Yeah, or like when God, what was a good example of I heard the... Oh, you know what it was? It was I saw the movie Dr. Sleep a couple weeks back, and Ewan McGregor is doing like a very just straight Midwestern accent. And there's a couple parts in the movie where it gets really tense and he starts yelling and you're like, there's the Scottish. I thought that I heard it and there it is sort of thing. So it's probably the same thing with... It comes
American
out eventually.
Accent. Blimey.
Yeah.
My mates.
Or it's like any Canadian like cannot resist saying a boot, you know? They sound, it doesn't matter how long they've been in another country, any other word, like that one is always staying that way forever.
Dude, why are all like these right-wing lunatics not from here? You know what I mean? Like it's always like, I'm this alt-right guy and I'm from I'm half British, or we're all from Canada. They're all from Canada.
I see what there's a strong. The thing is, I feel like the most prestigious ones end up in the Euro circuit because there's a real market there for the specific kind of right-wing manosphere guys. But we're discounting all the like diet incel guys who make $10 million a year, like I will be after this year ends.
Hopefully,
like Logan and Jake Paul are pretty much right-wing influencers at this point, and they're both super, frat bro-y. Joe Rogan. He's the face of the movement.
I don't know. Every once in a while, Logan Paul will be like, why don't people get health care? Like, he genuinely doesn't understand, and it's like...
He doesn't understand anything. He's a fucking moron. He's like...
Yeah, he's also taken a lot of blows to the head by this point, because he's decided he's a boxer.
That didn't help.
No, it didn't help at all.
I think Cena... Never mind.
Is something wrong with the modeling industry? Like, is there just no place to put these, like, beautiful empty vessels that our country cranks out?
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I couldn't tell you.
I did do martial arts for a number of years, and I remember like we would do like sparring sessions like once a month because you get hit in the head too much and you're like, But I remember like the day after a sparring session, even though it's like light and they say, like you're sparring with your partner, you're not trying to break your partner and have to get a new partner. Keep it light, keep it easy. You get hit in the head so many times. The next day, you just have this fogginess of just like, I can't remember where I put my keys and shit, like, and that goes away pretty soon. But it's like, if you're doing that professionally, like, that's not good, and it can't be good.
I think that's bad.
I'm gonna die on that hill. I think it's bad.
All right, brave, very brave.
Speaking of brave, Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, he's in jail, or maybe he's in jail. I don't know.
I haven't seen him since he was on Thought Cops without the UGH.
Well, you see, you mentioned Andrew WK earlier. That is our friend of the show, because at one time I had him make that quick video with me. Andrew Tate, though, you won't be seeing me filming a video with him.
Okay.
We do need to get...
You sure about that?
Andrew WK.
Well, we'll see what happens this year.
On Thought Cops. People were saying this was because of the pizza box, because it's a type of pizza that's only found in Romania, and then
that's what I was saying.
I think
in the video, in the response video, supposedly, I don't know if this is actually true.
I don't think it's true, but that's what people were saying. The rumor when it
happened was that he essentially exposed himself as being in Romania from having a Romanian pizza box,
right?
It's this
and thus confirmed they could pick him up.
Jerry's Pizza. Some kind of... There's a foreign language on there. I don't know.
Romanian Jerry's Pizza.
Oh my God.
Could you guess what that tastes like? Because I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, some bizarre approximation of pizza. Like, we were talking before the show. Alex, like, the reason that you and I know each other is because somebody we know, like, tagged us both. It's like, two podcasters I know are in Japan at the same time, because you and I... We're both in Japan in 2019 for two different reasons. When you were there, did you try Japanese pizza, specifically Pizza Hut?
I did not. I was there for business, and you were there for pleasure.
Yes, for pizza, actually.
No, the Japanese pizza did not look anything approaching pizza, and I live in New York City, so I was like, this is not why I'm here. I will have any other food while I'm here.
Well, I was there for a couple weeks. Hey, I got sick of sushi. I got sick of all the rest of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try the pizza. I've heard things. And I got like a pizza with like mayonnaise and corn on it. Not bad.
But does it taste like pizza, or does it taste like something else?
It's like, I feel like it was maybe like a little bit sweeter, because I feel like some of this stuff tends to maybe err on the side of sweetness just a little bit, even if it's savory. That was about it. I mean, it was still like, I forget if it was Pizza Hut or Domino's, but... I feel like a lot of other countries like tend to have different approximations of what pizza is to them. And it's kind of interesting to try that. So I don't know what that would be for Romania over at Jerry's, but...
Yeah, Japan's interesting specifically because they'll have something that's called Taco Bell or McDonald's or something. But then like the people there are all like trying their best. And so the food comes out good. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, 7-Eleven as well.
I spent like a quarter of my meals at 7-Eleven. You could get like actual restaurant food for like $2. It was nuts.
Right. I've heard that that's the best place to get like lunch and stuff if you're in Japan, is just grab lunch from like a 7-Eleven or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like grab dinners at like, better places, or like pick out the places where you specifically want to go to, sort of thing.
And that's pretty much what I did. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jeremy Renner got run over by a reindeer this week, or should I say snowplow?
And right off the heels of Christmas.
You should have said snowplow.
Yeah, right off the heels. It would have been kind of funny if this happened maybe a little bit sooner. But yeah, Jeremy Renner got hit by a snowplow.
I don't think
so. Well, the joke would have been funnier if Jeremy Renner got run over by a reindeer.
I'm concerned.
Or should I say? Yeah, no, he got run over, and I guess he was in critical condition, but he's okay.
This is hilarious.
Well, hold on.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He's very hurt.
Listen, I was going to say, everybody relax. He's okay. He's okay now, and the reason we know that is because he posted a disgusting selfie on Instagram where he's all battered and bruised up and bleeding and stuff. And this is something I've talked about on this show, where it's like, I don't know why people do that, and that's why I bring it up again, is because even this morning on Facebook, I don't go on Facebook too often, and this proved me to be correct in doing so. Somebody in my friends list, like, I got hit by a car, and like they just posted a picture of like all bandaged up and blood is pouring down their face, and it's like, I'm sorry that happened, man, but like, you don't have to put that on Facebook, you know?
It me. I got smashed by a Honda.
Like, have to
Tag
turn
yourself. I'm the guy who is in the hospital.
I mean, they could have saved it that way, but no, they didn't do that. And
the execution was off, probably from the car crash.
Yeah, maybe that's my issue. No, I don't know. Like, do you guys ever see this? Like, I don't see it as much maybe on Twitter, but it's like more of like an Instagram or Facebook thing sometimes, where people will post like when they get hurt. Yeah. It's like somebody like, oh, I cut my hand on a buzzsaw today, and the finger's just like hanging by a thread.
I feel like that's like a Facebook thing. Maybe that's sort of bled into Instagram, but I feel like Instagram's like a little more curated, whereas Facebook was like insular, like your friends are only seeing it, but of course you have like bigger friend groups or whatever. But it's not just like going, because if you do that on, I feel like Twitter, people will be like, ew.
Yeah, it's a little bit different on Twitter.
They'll zoom you.
Yeah, they'll be like, yo, what's that in the back, man?
Nice vacuum. Sorry about your car crash.
Exactly. Twitter, podcasting, Zoom chat rooms, whatever. But
I have so many more questions about Jeremy Renner getting hit by a snowplow. Was he driving the snowplow?
I don't know.
No, I think it was something along the lines of like, it was in like the area that he lived, and I think he was trying to clear a street or a driveway, and someone just hit him. And then they were like, oh my God, is that Jeremy Renner?
Does he not live in Los Angeles?
I don't know where the fuck. He probably has 20 houses like every other rich person.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I guess, he's okay, and we know that because he posted a selfie.
Good.
Yeah, his eye is pretty crushed, as if a snowplow hit it. And we're wishing him the best.
Did he post the selfie to his app? You guys remember the Jeremy Renner
I forgot
app?
about that. Yeah. We all got to go. Why have we not moved there after Twitter started this up? You know?
I thought it was closed down. Is that not correct?
No,
I think you're right.
It's correct, yeah.
Well,
I think it was infiltrated and sabotaged by assets from the Twitterverse.
Well, that's just a bummer.
Bunch of God. This is why we can't have anything nice, because these hooligans from the dang Twitterverse. You got the goddamn Gravel twins going over there pretending they're Jeremy Renner fans.
Here's an idea. Spider-Man into the Twitterverse.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, that was the whole idea.
That's the whole, just the name?
That's the whole idea, yeah, just the name. Okay. Someone else can do something with it.
So maybe he...
Would be different versions of Elon Musk.
Well, he tells you when... You know when you respond and they say, like, most people don't tweet like this, and it shows you
I don't get that
tweet?
one.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
If you say something rude or lewd or rude or with tude, sometimes you'll get the robot who's like, most people don't tweet like this, reconsider it. Well, in Spider-Man Into the Twitterverse, Spider-Man shows up at your house.
I know what you're talking about.
Spider-Man shows up at your house and he kills you and he kicks your ass.
Normally he doesn't kill people, but if you're mean on Twitter, he will snap your neck.
Talk about the thought police.
Yeah. Grant, did you want to get into one more here?
Yeah. Speaking of thought police, I had something I wanted to bring in. I thought this was particularly funny. Do y'all know who Lex Friedman is? I believe it's pronounced Friedman. Lex Friedman.
Lex Friedman.
I've heard the name a million times in the last month, and I have not once bothered to Google.
Good.
Lex Friedman.
All I know is he interviewed Kanye or something.
Yeah.
Well, who is he?
Well, I didn't know if Alex.
Is this an OC you're testing? This part of the novel?
Yeah, I made up Lex Friedman.
Just running names by us because you haven't chosen the name for your character.
He's this.
If we like him.
He's this guy that I think nobody had ever heard of him until he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's just kind of like a boring centrist guy, who then started his own boring podcast, and it's very I don't know. He's got some weird, I don't want to say controversies, but there might be something along the lines of he maybe is not 100% honest with some of his academic credentials. He's a computer science guy, but he's more of a research guy that I don't know anything. Okay, I'm a fucking idiot, but he has this podcast where he's like Joe Rogan, but you know how sometimes Joe Rogan is at least funny or entertaining or something like that, and you're I kind of see why people would be into this. Lex Friedman is none of that. He's just a saltine cracker in a suit.
Was he very strong, at least?
No.
Is he physically strong?
No, I'm seeing a picture
of him.
A big
nerd man.
Yeah, he looks like Frank Grimes from The Simpsons.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone just kind of hates him, and he's a pretty inoffensive guy, but I think people maybe just see him as being I don't know, just spineless and a little pseudo-intellectually. And everyone just it's been a big thing where everyone's been dunking on him lately, and kind of for no reason, because you'll scroll through his Twitter and he'll just be even with all the pushback that I receive, I love every single one of you, and it's just just whatever, man. This
You're not supposed to have a show to love us. You're supposed to be interesting and say things.
Yeah, and he's very uninteresting, but he has sometimes interesting guests. So around the time that the whole Kanye thing was starting, he was one of the first people to get an interview with Kanye, specifically about the anti-Semitism, and you could tell that the tone changed in the room after Kanye had realized that Lex himself was Jewish, and he treated the interview very differently from that point on. And the whole time,
awkward turtle.
He just does this thing where he goes, yeah, no, I agree, but let me push back. Let me push back a little bit, because what you said is it's he doesn't want you a lot. These people don't want you alive. Don't push back. Just be get out. Whatever. One of those open debate, free speech guys. Whatever. And he posted this reading list on Twitter. He said, my resolution for the year 2023, so I'm going to read a book a week,
Very popular.
Some people do 100 books in a year. He's doing a book a week. And once again, everyone was this is your list. I'll run through these. 1984, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Brave New World, The Stranger, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, On the Road, Art of War, Old Man in the Sea, 2001, A Space Odyssey, Animal Farm, Man's Search for Meaning, Metamorphosis, The Plague, Fight Club, The Little Prince, Siddhartha, Dune, Frankenstein. These are all just the basic, these are the things you read in high school.
I was going to say, that's English class.
The Giver, The Prince by Machiavelli, The Alchemist, The Road, fucking...
Emotionally all over the place. that reading list.
12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he's actually got that below. Yeah, and his other suggestions he's considering.
I saw that. I don't know who this guy is, but I saw that as a cringe reading list. But honestly, I don't think people read enough books. You know, whatever's getting people reading books. You can read The Plague, sure.
That's like the weird thing about this is I think that it's just like the idea that maybe it's just like the publicity that he's been receiving, and for him to be like, I'm going to read a book a week, and it's just like 1984 is just getting hit over the head with these like stupid fucking like, there's like the lack of like the idea of like expanding one's horizons, and you're just reading the same shit. And I do think that there's a reason why a lot of these books have like stood the test of time, and I wouldn't say that any of them are bad. I have read probably most of them, some percentage of them I've read.
I was going to say,
they're not bad
every week.
2 Minutes of Hate is from 1984. We can't really.
Yeah,
we can't criticize the guy too much.
So that was also sort of a joke, because the whole premise of the show is, people keep overusing some of this stuff.
I think Grant came up with 2 Minutes of Hate, so maybe 1984 took it from him. I don't know which was first.
I think so, actually.
You might be right. Actually, now that you're saying it, I think maybe you're right.
I mean, we've been doing the show for a while. I heard you say it
before I knew it was in that book.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
You could have a case there. But the list is cringe and hold this L and plus ratio plus.
Oh my god!
Get better books on your list, I guess.
Honestly, it's like, what's the point in like running through? Like, again, I don't think that there's like, I don't think that any of these are necessarily bad, but it's just like the most basic, boring, high school level. Like, we all had to read these, and it's not interesting.
It says he's Russian American. Do you think maybe he just didn't read them because he was in Russia?
Nah, I kind of doubt it.
I mean, from everything you're telling me, this seems like somebody who is culturally American. So
yeah, and also I want to say too,
Animal Farm.
I want to say too that after he got some pushback for this, he said some of these are my favorite novels, and I would like to reread them. And again, it's like, that's fine, I guess. Like,
honestly, good for you, Lex Friedman. You should just stand by your convictions for once in your goddamn life. Stop hedging.
I think he is, yeah. But there's this other guy that responded to this tweet, and I don't know who this guy is. Maybe someone else can tell me. But Nassim Nicola Talib, I don't know. He said, if you don't get why between 2019 and 2022, I turned down exactly 10 requests to be on his podcast. This will provide a succinct explanation.
I mean, there's probably people like that out there for us. Let's not,
Yeah, but I didn't put out a list of here's books to read. 1984.
Well, you better not, because
I might.
Somebody will be like, these guys have asked me to be on their fucking podcast no less than 17 times.
People are going to tear you to shreds if you put out a book list. This is the last thing I'd recommend you do.
This is like what I was saying last time, that people in the Discord seem to disagree with me
lists.
On the list thing. Everything is a list now. This is my list from this year. This is the list of things I want to consume instead of just consuming.
Stop
it's not
listing.
There's no more lists. No more lists.
No more listing.
No more lists.
I don't know.
One thing at a time.
I don't know why it came out that way.
This guy goes on. He said, "You tech people are not getting it. Anyone who pretends programmatically reading, discussing, and digesting these books per 1 week." There's a little of a grammar syntax thing here, because I'd imagine also I can't say programmatically apparently, but I think maybe it's like a whatever. Digesting one of these books per week is a total fraud. If you fall for shallow, vapid, overactive poser inflating his scientific image, idiots, you deserve Lex Friedman. And then Jordan Peterson chimed in and said, I've rarely read a response to a good faith request this thoughtless. Lex Friedman is an excellent and careful interviewer, and what exactly is it about his reading list that earned your derision? And then he responds to Jordan Peterson saying, Peterson, you idiot, stay out of this. So my key to the city this week goes to the guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then to go along with this, to sort of like bring all of this to a head, Elon Musk yesterday, tweeted out this image that's a Venn diagram, and it's 1984, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, and in the middle it says "You are here." And I think that's why people don't like this shit, is because this type of just basic ooh, I am very smart. Are we in 1984? Or are we in Brave New World? And it's like, find a new book.
Like, their discourse poisoned by the book.
Yeah,
I'm personally past the point of like, oh, can you believe what Elon Musk said today? Because it's like, yeah, at this point I can. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. He owns the website and is saying it's still 1984. I just don't care. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what he said, because he's a moron, you know?
Right.
And it's still a little funny, I'll admit that.
Yeah, like, that's all I care about.
The idea that he thinks that, you know, he's in control of this at the fucking site he wanted so bad, and it's still, you know, 1984, despite not realizing that actually makes him look bad.
Yeah.
He's not saying I'm in that middle of that Venn diagram with you. You're in there. I'm out here. I'm all of the other ones.
Big Brother's got your fucking location data.
Yeah, exactly. We can see how many people view our tweets now. Is that still a thing? I didn't notice.
It is. It's It's not good.
It's so bad. I don't even want to post
it generates
anymore.
Anxiety.
Yeah. It's whatever. Let's move on to the Thought Cops word of the week. This week's word of the week is Nepo baby, which is, according to the New York Magazine, a term used to describe children of Hollywood stars who themselves are also stars.
Because they were babies and they benefited from nepotism.
Exactly.
I think
they were nepotism babies.
I think, what do you call, Nepo baby number one, Nepo babies.
Baby number one.
public Nepo babies number one, the Muppet Babies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, talk about
Tiny
nepotism.
Toons. Well, actually, the Tiny Toons are not related to the Looney Tunes, are they?
I don't know.
They're the highest form of nepotism because they're not even the children of Bugs Bunny or Kermit the Frog. They just are Kermit the Frog as a baby.
True.
They didn't have to do any work to get that show. It was all done by their future selves.
Yeah, that's like
Crimes of the Future Nepo Babies.
Next
You
level.
expect me to believe that we're living in a meritocracy while I'm turning the channel and seeing Miss Piggy in diapers roll around on the damn floor like a pig?
Where's our show if we're in diapers? Still trying to get one.
Where's my show where I'm in diapers?
Yeah.
What?
Where's my show where I am in diapers?
I'm in talks.
See, that could be a Quora. That's in the format of a Quora.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's my show where I am in diapers?
I'm going to have to start going on Quora more.
Nepo baby as a word, I do feel like burned out at an extraordinary rate, where by the time I had heard of it, people were like, stop saying it. And I was like, I'm just getting it. I'm just getting it now.
I know, like, we haven't done a word of the week in a while, and I put this on here at some point, and I'm like, hey, people are saying it. People should know. Because, like, not everybody is, like, on Twitter or whatever all the time, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, I want to talk about this on Facebook next week or whatever.
Right. Uh-huh. Whenever
they're writing it down long.
Yeah.
Smoke signal.
Put into their journal.
Remember to say, got it. Okay. Anyway, well, I guess we don't have any voicemails this week. I think our listeners are feeling a little shy. Zwick got all the voicemails last time, so I understand. But if you want to give us a call, our number is 312-788-7361, or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show over at patreon.com/thoughtcops, where we have a bunch of bonus content, our show Fire Bros, all kinds of fun stuff. Patreon.com/thoughtcops. Want to give a thank you to one of our older patrons this week, Tony Tonsils, who has been a patron since October of 2020. Thank you, Tony. And Alex, where can people find you on the internet and they can find all of your wonderful content? Yeah.
I made a link tree specifically for this situation. I had a whole website and it was just too much, and you don't need all that. Just go to alexptak.com, ALEXPTAK.com, and you can listen to all my podcasts. You can come to my live show if you live in New York. You can watch a movie I made once. I got all kinds of stuff on there.
See, I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could turn a link tree into a custom URL like that.
Well, I owned the URL, so it just redirects to the link tree.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Cut down on the work of writing a post each week. Here, just fucking take it, you.
This is obviously stuff we can talk about off mic. But yeah, I also meant to ask you earlier, you guys are, you are also a fellow hard drive writer, and you have been doing live shows with Jeremy Kaplowitz, the Hard Drive Presents, which I would have loved to go to if I lived nearby.
You're invited.
I'll buy a ticket right now. When's the next one?
The next one's January 20th. Okay. I think after that we're moving to Thursday, but we'll keep you updated. Follow Hard Drive on Twitter, and that'll have all the dates for those. And we try to put a hard drive writer on every show. If you're ever in New York, you guys let me know. We'll try to get you on one of these. Sweet. And they've been very fun. It's been my new project for the year.
Cool. Yeah,
live stand-up.
You guys have had a lot of non-hard drive people on there too, because the list is always pretty stacked. So it's definitely a show worth checking out. I'm over it. It's at the Caveat?
Yeah, Caveat Theater in the Lower East Side. I've been doing comedy in New York for 10 years, so the one thing I have is that I know everybody now. And if they're not too famous, they'll probably come on my show. So check that out.
Cool, man. Yeah, that'll be a good time. Check out alexptak.com. Check out all of his wonderful content. That about does it for this week's episode, and we'll see you on the other side.
See you, Space Cop. No, I was doing it.
Okay.
Yep.